again, everybody. It's Mr. Scott, your favorite middle-aged metalhead, and welcome to episode 3 of this series where we check out metal albums that turn 40 years old in the year 2024, essentially metal albums that become middle-aged. And this time around, we've got one of the biggest acts ever to come out of England and who hit prime top spots in the world of metal in the 80s, and that is Iron Maiden and their album Powerslave. We're going to talk about the album, the songs in the album, and the band in context of the time the album came out. This is episode 3, as I mentioned before. I've already talked about Ride the Lightning from Metallica and Love at First Sting from the Scorpions, so please check out those on the playlist here at my channel. The link to the video I'm going to be checking out today will be down in the description, and it's going to be a song that is well known off this album, 2 Minutes to Midnight. Now, this is the part where, in the past couple of videos, I've called out the gatekeepers of hard rock and heavy metal and stuff like that. And I'm not about to stop. I'm just letting you know I'm going to do that right now. So, yeah, you wearing the Burzum t-shirt. Yeah, I'm talking to you right now, okay? When the next time comes around that you go out of your home, if you ever want to, and you go to the bar or the club to see a band, and the young lady walks in wearing the Slayer t-shirt, for all that is unholy in metal, please fight the urge that you're going to have to waltz up to her and ask her to name the first album and 5 songs off that album, okay? That's all I'm asking you to do. Just don't do that. If it really matters that much to you, just stay home. Stay home. Listen to Burzum. Go ahead and do that. And whatever other stuff you want to do. Hang out in the basement. Drink beer. Whatever you want to do. But seriously, you're not wanted here. So, bye-bye. Now that that's out of the way, you got to check these people right at the front door, folks. Otherwise, they're just going to stick around. You don't want them at your party. So, with that being said, 2 Minutes to Midnight from the Powerslave album from Iron Maiden is what we're going to be checking out. This is the lyric video here, and we'll be delving into some information about the albums, the songs, and so forth as we progress. So let's get to the song and thrill me. All you air drummers out there, this part, the beginning is for you. Quick little fill right here. Guitar riff, in case you didn't know. And we're in. That's called dynamics. And we get the first taste of Bruce Dickinson's vocals here. It never is. And we go to the pre-chorus. Did the bass line go up right here? Great counterpoint there between the guitars and bass. Oh, you want a chorus? Here's a chorus. With that bass line going up again. And then we start the cycle all over again. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about this album. This was the 5th studio album from Iron Maiden, and it was released in September of 1984. It was recorded, actually, at Compass Studios in the Bahamas. Talk about chilling out when you're trying to create a metal icon of an album. Am I right here or what? The album cover, which you should be seeing on the screen right now, was designed by a man named Derek Riggs, who did a lot of work with the band, even created the image that would become the band's mascot, Eddie. The album peaked at number 21 on the U.S. Billboard charts. I mean, it's respectable, definitely, for a metal band in the 1980s. However, over in Europe, top 10s across the board in Holland, Finland, Germany, Norway, and, of course, the United Kingdom. So it was absolutely a juggernaut of an album for the band. The entire 80s was really the era of Iron Maiden, the golden era, if you will, because yes, they've been putting out material still to this very day, and it varies with the age demographic you want to talk to about whether they like it or not. If people my age will probably want to compare it to the old thing, that's not something we should do. That's gatekeeping right there. You don't want to be doing that stuff. We already talked about the gatekeepers. We don't need them here. And if you're still here, get out, go in your basement, listen to Burzum. Okay, enjoy yourself. But regardless, they're still putting out music to this day, and you should be enjoying it for the time it comes out. The running gag for a lot of us in the 80s who were listening to Iron Maiden was when you went to high school, you didn't really need to go to your English class or your history class. You just had to listen to Maiden because they were so ingrained in that material. A lot of their songs talked about those subject matters, which we'll get into when we talk about the songs on this album. Even this one right here, which we'll get to again as we get into the descriptions of the song. So let's get back into it. Guitar riff. This was another 80s pattern, just kind of start over again. Bruce Dickinson's voice was so great at just maneuvering through those lyrics across the board with all the songs from Maiden. Great bass fill. Before we get into the dynamic guitar solos that became a calling card for Iron Maiden, let's talk about the songs off this album. There are 9 songs throughout the entire piece, and it starts off with one of the most famous, infamous songs in all of Iron Maiden's legacy, Aces High, a dynamic opener, and it's usually a song that actually opens a lot of their live concerts as well. It's become a huge hit for the band across all generations, and it's actually written from the point of view of a British Royal Air Force pilot during the Battle of Britain. I think it was in 1940. So again, there's that history part catching in right there. Then we go to this song, 2 Minutes to Midnight. This is actually the only song, I believe, off the album that an actual music video was created for. There's other metal or music videos here, but they're mostly using live footage. This one, an actual concept to the video, and you can check out that video on YouTube anywhere you want to see it. I didn't use it on here just in case for copyright issues and blocking issues. I've seen other reactors actually use just a lyric video, so I'm hoping this actually makes it out there because I'm using this one. But the song is actually an anti-war song, if you couldn't pick it up from the lyrics already. And this was also a thread that a lot of bands in the 80s were talking about because it was the Cold War time between the United States and Russia, between capitalism and communism. And there was always the threat of somebody hitting the button and us going to nuclear war. And a lot of metal bands dove into that whole narrative and that whole piece of reality that was happening. And all the time, though, it was all about anti-nuclear war. And this is another situation where we have that. This also deals with an Illuminati type situation where it's the corporations and the governments all coming together to create these wars to wipe out the people in the areas and the populations and so forth. And there's a lot of information out there that can fester those narratives too. But a fun fact about this song, when I started doing the research, this was released as a single in August of 1984, August 6th, as a matter of fact. And why that's so important is because 39 years earlier to the day was the first use of the atomic bomb. An anti-war song coming out 39 years to the day later from the first use of the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. So, yeah, that was goosebumps. That was a little moment there to dive into when we got into this kind of music. Next up on the album is an instrumental track called Lost for Words, L-O-S-F-E-R, Lost for Words. Instrumental, as I said, which was something that the band really didn't go into very much throughout their career. They've done it more recently on some albums, but that's pretty much been one of the only instrumentals they've ever done. If you listen to the song, it very easily could have had lyrics to it, I think, but it's just an exploration for the band that they wanted to experiment with. Other good songs: Flash of the Blade, The Duelists, Back in the Village, the title track Powerslave, underrated, I think. I don't think it really gets a lot of attention out there because it does have big hits like Aces High, 2 Minutes to Midnight to contend with, but it's still a solid track to listen to. And we round out the album with the epic Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Why is it an epic? Oh, it's only about 13 minutes long. Yeah, they decided to really dig into their experimentation here and get into really progressive type music with this 13-minute epic Rime of the Ancient Mariner. It is completely influenced by a poem written by Samuel Taylor Coleridge of the same name. Word is that Steve Harris was being told that they needed some more material for the album, and he quickly wrote this song. It's not very, I want to say, technically sound, but it just has an incredible flow to it. All the pieces kind of fit together very, very well. So it was a big step forward in writing and arrangement styles for Iron Maiden. So that's out of the way. Let's check out some of the solo work from Maiden. There's dual guitars going on there. Second solo. Bands like Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Merciful Fate, all renowned for that dual guitar tag team tandem that they would have. Solo bridge, hear the bass there. Here we go. Nice. Backs you down. Then we go back into another solo area here, solo bridge as it says. Again, showing more experimentative type writing and arranging from the band off this album. Drums are picking it up here. You ready for it? Right in your face there. Right back to the beginning. That's graphic. We got about a minute left in the song. Just a few more details I want to touch upon before we wrap this one up here. After this album came out, the band endured on an 11-month tour. That took them through 28 countries around the world. Now, that may not sound like much nowadays, but believe me when I say in the 80s, it wasn't as easy to really travel around the world and get exposure like that as it is nowadays. So for them to hit 28 countries in 11 months, that is an astounding accomplishment, and one of the reasons why Maiden became such a mainstay with metal and hard rock in the 80s. The album and tour gave Maiden the opportunity to become one of the first metal bands to bring a full stage performance behind the Iron Curtain. Now, some of you younger folks out there are like, what's an Iron Curtain? The Iron Curtain was the metaphorical description that was made, I think it was by Winston Churchill, when the country of Germany was split between West Germany and East Germany. Everything east of the Berlin Wall, which was kind of the Iron Curtain in metaphoric terms, was all communist countries. Well, because Maiden had such credibility and prowess going on in the world, they were able to cross that Iron Curtain and perform in countries like Hungary and Poland and bring their full stage concert to those areas, which was really a groundbreaking scenario for metal to be doing. Metal has been an underground hero in trying to bring some kind of connection to the world. Music in general, I guess I should say. Metal is part of that, but music in general, entertainment, performance, art, these are things that have helped been able to cross borders and help bring more people together. Also, they were able to play a small little festival that you may have heard of. It was down in South America. It was called Rock in Rio, and they were brought there as guests of this little band. What were they called? Oh, yeah, Queen. Yeah, Queen asked Iron Maiden, would you all like to come down and do this show in Rio de Janeiro called Rock in Rio? How many people are going to be there? Oh, a small gathering of friends, maybe about 350,000. Yes, Iron Maiden got to perform at the Rock in Rio Festival in front of 350,000 people. Let that number sink in for a second, okay? Thank you. And after this album came out, there was the Live After Death double album and the Live After Death home video release that came out. I'm proud to say I actually own both those things, the double album and the video, and that helped cement Iron Maiden as the premier metal act of the 80s. As much as there was great exposure for other bands, like we talked about in the previous video with Scorpions and bands like Judas Priest and so forth, Maiden were on a whole different level because of the tenacity and the drive they had to really see the world and bring their metal out there. So big horns up to Iron Maiden and Powerslave that turns 40 years old. Let's round out 2 minutes to midnight. I think we got about 30 seconds. No, we have a minute left to midnight. Oh, Steve Harris's bass. It's so medicinal for me. I love it. Take it home. Really Steve going off there. Just the way Bruce could change his vocal delivery like that from an operatic to a low growl. Fantastic. Influenced so many people. The entire band has influenced generations of metalheads, and I'm definitely one of those people. Yes. Oh, man. What an impact. What an impact. What a song. What an album. Everything about the band is amazing. Because as I said, this band actually started in the 70s. This was their 5th studio album that came out in 84, and they are still putting out albums to this very day, still touring the world 50 years later. And for that, they deserve nothing but respect. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, please. Check out all the information about me down in the description. Links to social networks, TeePublic merch store, Twitch account, and find out how you can join up at this channel and help support your favorite middle-aged metalhead. Thank you very much for stopping by, my friends. Keep those horns high. And just like Iron Maiden has proven throughout several decades, never stop playing.
It's Mr. Scott. Yo, it's Mr. Scott. You know his ass is hot. Yo, it's Mr. Scott. It's Mr. Scott. Yo, it's Mr. Scott. You know his ass is hot. Yo, it's Mr. Scott. It's Mr. Scott. Let him hang.